Alright guys, my name is Goblin, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 add-ons that you need for Classic WoW. Just before we jump in guys, please do give me a quick follow on Twitch, you'll find information for that in the description. I'm trying to stream pretty much every single night at the moment, and obviously I'll be streaming the launch, doing a big 24-hour long live stream for the launch, and we are looking for people still for our leveling team, preferably a human paladin. You'll find information about that on the Discord. So we've got a mixture of different add-ons here. We've got some great leveling add-ons which make things much easier for you. We've got some good convenience add-ons, and primarily we've just got a lot of add-ons which improve the gameplay. Well, not improve the gameplay, but tell you information that is restricted to you. In Classic WoW there's a number of things that you just simply not allowed to know. You're not allowed to know enemies' health, you're not allowed to know enemy castbars and stuff like that. And the add-ons on this list will kind of remedy that situation. So the first add-on we have is basically my favourite add-on of all time. I've used this on private servers quite a lot. It's basically a rewrite of PF Quest and Shagu DB. Okay, so that's quite a popular add-on that's been floating around on private servers, but it's been rewritten and it's now called Classic Codex. So the main reason why this is basically the most powerful and best questing add-on in the game is because it doesn't just tell you where to do your quests, which is what Questy does. It also shows you spawn locations of every single mob that you're trying to kill for your quest, which can be extremely useful, especially when there's huge competition to actually kill mobs when, you know, the game launches. So you'll know precisely where all the mobs spawn, so you can camp where they spawn and kind of float between the different spawn locations. And basically doing quests is really fast with this add-on. There's a few other, extra features like auto accept and auto turning quests and all that kind of good stuff like that. But anyways, let's move on to the next one. So the next add-on I have for you is Liatrix Plus, which is basically a remake of Lazy Pig, which again is another popular add-on on private servers. Basically, it has a lot of automated systems within the add-on. It has, you can automatically get quests and automatically turn in quests like the previous add-on, but it adds like a number of other things like automatically accepting a summon or a resurrection, releasing your corpse in PvP. It's going to sell all your junk automatically whenever you go to a vendor. It will also automatically accept party invites and automatically invite people when they type the letters I and V to invite to you. So yeah, just loads of great automated systems which are a great convenience. Next we have Atlas Loot Classic, which is basically your big daddy loot add-on for the entire game. It will show you the loot from dungeons, raids, world bosses, crafting recipes, faction rewards, and just pretty much everything. It will probably be on this add-on. And I've just looked online and I see a little screenshot of it, basically also showing whether the loot that you're looking at is best in slot or not for your character. So that is another interesting feature that they probably added for Classic WoW. So yeah, that's another great thing. The next add-on we have is Classic Castbars. So you may not know this, but in Vanilla WoW you was just not allowed to know the enemy's castbar. It was just totally hidden information from you. You would have to just kind of look at the model to determine whether the character was casting or not, to then use your kick ability, which was pretty ridiculous, to be honest, pretty irritating. So Classic Castbars, it does what it says on the tin. You will be able to see enemy player and enemy NPC castbars, and job done. Next we have an add-on, very simple, called Real Mob Health. Again, this information was actually hidden to you in vanilla. You just couldn't see the precise amount of health that an enemy had on any single target at all. So Real Mob Health will just tell you how much health your target's got left, so yeah. The next add-on we have is called a vendor price. It is a very similar thing to the past two add-ons. It will tell you the vendor value of all the items in the game, because that information was actually hidden to you when you were playing vanilla. So the last three add-ons are basically just showing the information to the player that is actually hidden to the player. So obviously they're very useful. The next add-on we have, well, technically have two add-ons here because I didn't want either class, I didn't want some classes to be left out. First of all, we've got Weapon Swing Timer and the 5-second rule. First of all, the Weapon Swing Timer very simply shows you your weapon swing, which is fairly useful depending on what class you're playing. Sometimes your activated abilities can clip your auto attack and delay your auto attack, so you normally try and fit in your abilities, for instance like Sinister Strike, in between your melee swings so you don't clip them. And this also works for the Hunter as well. It's the same thing, like you try and cast your aim shot in the window that it, between auto shots. And then we also have the add-on 5-second rule. You may not know this, but you have to wait 5 seconds of not casting in order for your mana to actually regenerate. So yeah, that is it's the way it's actually displayed on the screen is actually ridiculously useful, because you just have this little 5-second bar ticking away on your unit frame, and then you know precisely when your mana is going to start regenerating at its maximum efficiency. And it just, again, when your mana is actually regenerating, it has like a nice little animation to show that as well. So this is a really cool add-on. The next add-on we have is Classic Aura Durations. So you may not know this, but the actual duration of your debuffs or enemy buffs, again, is totally hidden to the player, like previous things that we've talked about. So this add-on would basically turn it to appearing more like retail, how you have like a little debuff on the target, and you have like the little clock that's turning around. It's kind of half highlighted, half not. Basically, it just makes it a little more like retail. It's also the same with buffs as well, looking at your own buffs, or basically a friendly target's buffs as well. And when obviously you will learn then when you actually need to refresh your buffs on someone. The second last add-on we have is Onebag 3, very straightforward add-on. It combines all your bags into one bag, pretty much like Bag None on retail, and it will also have a search feature, which is like one of my favourite features of any add-on, really, just being able to search through your bags rather than like staring right at your screen trying to find a particular item that you've totally lost. You can just type it in on the search bar and find it instantly, so great add-on. The last add-on I have for you is Recount. Now you might be thinking, well, this add-on isn't really that useful for when you're leveling up, and it's more of a raiding add-on, for optimizing your DPS and making sure you look cool to the rest of your raid. But the thing is, Recount's actually really useful when you're leveling and doing solo content, because you can basically adapt your own strategy, your own rotation to optimize your DPS, and you can find out what DPSs, what abilities, what sequences of abilities are doing the most DPS, and you can change your strategy around. And obviously Recount is going to tell you whether what you're doing is actually useful or not. So that's how I would personally use Recount. And obviously in dungeons as well. In dungeons things change. For instance, when you're playing Warlock, should you dot or should you just spam Shadow Bolt? Questions like this can be answered by the Recount add-on. But anyway guys, that is where I'm going to end the video there. My name is Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.